The last couple of days with the guys, days off or little workouts, or
Saturday was light. All of our facilities are open to the guys, so some guys got a light lift in. Sunday just a real light workout as well. Yesterday was a good one, so kind of just going up and down. Light workout, good rigorous one. Work on some development pieces. Today light one again, and tomorrow pick it up a little bit, and then Thursday is just the NCAA, hour and 15 minutes that you get, so that one will be pretty light too, but not stopping the guys. They have access to the hitting facility, and so they're still getting all their evening work in and stuff. Can't stop that.
And are you thinking you're going to go with your regular rotation Friday, Saturday, Sunday as normal?
We're going to touch base on that as well today and lock in, our full-on plan, but it makes sense to do so. But before I say for sure that's what we're going to do, I just want to make sure we have a little sit down and really understand our opponent. So that's been a big piece of it now that we know who we're playing, is dive in and understand their offense, understand their pitching, understand how they go about their gameplay, and see what the best matchups are for us.
What was your reaction to the draw in the field that you have?
Good. Yeah. Good teams. Like, once you hit regionals, you're going to play great competition all over. Knowing Irvine and Ben and what they've always done, great team. And seeing Jay, we saw him last year down at the other regional. He's always done a good job as well. All the teams, like, they just, they're all, it's going to be like everyone says, it's going to be an offensive regional, so it comes down to playing solid defense and pitching, but ecstatic, with the fact that we get to be here at home as well, and I think deserving. I don't play too much into necessarily seeds or anything like that. Last year I watched our guys' reaction when we were going down south, and if anything, they wanted to face the best. No matter where we go, we want to face the best. If you're going to be the last team standing at the end of the year, then does it really matter if you're doing it the first week or the very last game? Like, you're going to have to face them at some point.
Having played in a few of these and having coached one here now, what is the experience of hosting a regional here at Goss?
Oh, it's beautiful. I wish we had 30,000 seats. I'm sure they'd all fill up. There's going to be a lot of folks that are excited to come out here. The energy, obviously, for any day at Goss is electric, but postseason especially. We'll be excited to, pull in the morning of the first game, and you're going to see, people out in the parking lot, all the families, the community, RVs, you name it, and excited to watch the guys go out and compete. And for our guys too. For the older guys that have done it at home and been on the road and done it as well. Even when, I remember talking to Butch over at Auburn, and he said that he loved the environment here and it was extremely special as part of his bucket list. And so it's nice to hear that, because when we're living it every day, we really appreciate it and cherish each moment we get here. But sometimes you wonder if, like, everyone else sees it the same way. And so anyone who's been here, it's been exciting to hear their take and how special they see it, because it just matches up with what we know and believe this place to be. Even just watching the bleachers get built and center field working its way up right now, there's a lot to be excited for right now, and I think our guys are eager to go out and play.
What did you kind of take away from Scottsdale? What did you like? What were you hoping to see more of?
I thought our pitching staff did extremely well down there. Obviously, we didn't score as many runs as we wanted, but those things are going to happen. Pitching and defense, getting excited to see guys do their job. Whether when we were down in Arizona, getting in the heat for a week and a half and going out and performing, and even stepping away from doing the on-field stuff and being successful just doing cage BP. So the guys, it tells me when they do that and don't have to go through the same routine of doing stuff on the field. And we had that plan back in the fall. We go down to Tucson, we're probably not going to hit on the field every day we're down there. We're going to get in the cages, and at that point you should be able to trust that you know what you're doing offensively. So just being on the road is always a fun addition to it, because you have to develop a little bit differently. You have to spend your pregame time, how you handle the hotels, how you get your rest, lifting at different gyms, so finding a way to stick with your routine and not just sit in your hotel room the whole time, but also not get crushed by the sun when you're out in that heat and sit by the pool all day. So learning moments all around. As you can see, some guys have strong tan, some guys probably a little red from sitting out there too much, but learning moments.
Could you give us an update on Trent? And then I know Micah was late in that second game. A status update on him as well.
Yeah, Trent's doing well. If you said, are watching practice or anything, he's been progressing. He just had, he got dinged one time in practice and just kind of flared up a little bit, but everything in there is good. So just yesterday had a great practice, throwing, hitting. He's had live at-bats. Yesterday he got a handful as well. So he's looking really good. I told him I'm going to be paying close attention to him and make sure that he's in a really good spot going into this weekend.
And he's potentially available?
I do believe so, yeah. I think all the signs point to yes. And we thought, going into the PAC tournament that that was going to be like, to reignite it and get back in there. Just wasn't quite ready with a few of the things, but I think he's in a good space right now. And then Micah, I think some leg was bothering him a little bit. And at that point in the game, having the lead and getting Canham out there, Canham does a phenomenal job flying around. Big time defender. If you watch him in practice too, yesterday when we were scrimmaging, just had him out in center field by himself and said, "It's all yours, man." He looks forward to that. So that point in the game, like not trying to press it, especially wanting to have all the guys available for this week. But it was a lot of time on the feet, and there's some big outfields down there with the heat and everything in the early morning. So just taking care of his body.
So he's also available?
Yeah.
Okay. When you're looking at your rotation, you said you're still mulling it over. How do you balance the we've got to get this first game versus, well, we might have Irvine in the second game? You know what I mean? Sticking to it or balancing that out? Because historically, I feel like you've always put so much importance on that first game.
Yeah, the regional play, if you don't go all in on game one, then it becomes a very difficult road. Not impossible, but it makes it a lot tougher. And then it goes to depth, especially the more games you play. If you have to play 4, you better have some real depth, and you better have an offense that's ready to go out and produce every day. And but I think pitching depth, if you can get it done in 3 games, that's a big move. But I think you try to attack game 1, especially in regionals. Like every team is deserving of being there. They're all there for a reason. Some get hot win their tournament. Some have been hot all year. Some have been ups and downs. But in order to get into a regional, you have to have a really good club. And if you take anyone lightly at this point, then your season's going to end a lot quicker. So no, I think you do whatever it takes game 1, and then you take care of game 2, and you take care of game 3. Yeah.
And how much does it help on that front when a guy like Calho goes out there and gives you guys?
How do you pronounce that again?
Caljo?
Yeah.
Sorry.
J and the H. It is. Yeah, I like that. Phenomenal. I just talked to him earlier today, and how he went out there. He just continued to get better and better. His slider's looking sharper. His fastball is getting stronger. His mindset, like his mentality in the moment, is getting more aggressive early on, as opposed to taking a hitter or 2. So he's just really developing into a frontline guy, who can get lefties and righties out. I mean, his fastball, can sit in the mid-90s, and even, I don't pay too close attention to it, but they said he got up to 99 his last outing, and he's going longer in an inning. He's going 2 innings. He's jumping into the 3rd. So he's showing like just a lot of strength. And even in that last outing he had, it's like, okay, he's done his job. Do we go right to Holmes right now? Let's give him this last one right here. And he ends up striking the guy out. So to see him continue to like sprint through, the base or the finish line is exciting. He looks like he's in a good spot, smiling a lot, as he always does. But I like seeing him when he comes in the game with that edge to him.
What went into the decision to put Lattery in that opener, and how much does having him back just add to the depth of the ball?
Yeah, having AJ and Joey, like two older guys, veteran guys that have been around that are really hungry to produce for the guys that are so selfless as well. It's been a long road back. Joey had a couple years of not throwing, and then the road to recovery and dialing it back in. You can see that it just means so much more when he's out there throwing. And for Aaron, you know, to not have really thrown like since early in the year, to get back out there, it meant a lot to him, it meant a lot to the guys. They kind of feed off of having him around and being able to participate, but he's handled it extremely well all year. Sometimes when you're not able to pick up the baseball and do something with it, you know, you kind of lose your self-worth, but he's continued to pour into other guys and be a leader in the clubhouse. But starting him in that moment, he started many times before. It allows us to control his progression and get him in the game, because you for sure want that guy throwing in the game. And as the game's going on, I don't want to get him hot in the pen and then the guy finishes the inning and then he has to sit down and then get ready for the next opportunity. And that way he's also facing the, you know, the big part of their order. So we're guaranteeing a really good arm is facing, you know, their better hitters right out the chute. So kind of set the tone. It was good. It was good for him.
Do you envision that would be his pitch limit moving forward, or will you be able to kind of bump him up a little bit?
No, we'll continue to grow off of that. You know, getting around 30 last time, having a strong bullpen yesterday as well, continuing to build off of that. It's not like I don't think he needs to go out and face a ton of hitters.
Yeah.
I think it's just continuing to build the conditioning and making sure that his recovery is really good, which it has been his last several ups on the mound. So, you know, he'll get a longer leash this next outing.
The past month hasn't been easy for Mason. How have you seen him handle it, and how much does that home run on Thursday really help him and his confidence?
Yeah, big shot. And you know, it's wild that it's not that confidence shouldn't be built off of success necessarily. It should be built off of how you prepare and that self-worth that you have and you're communicating to yourself, right? You work hard, you use the positive like internal communication, you walk around, just change your body language, right? And build that self-belief, and others will follow as well. Yeah, it was probably not the easiest thing.
Oh, thanks.
Probably not the easiest thing. Obviously, if you played baseball, you have some tough moments, but much like anything in life, it's how you respond to them. And if it took longer than he hoped that time, hopefully what he learns from that experience, how to get out of it, is that next time something happens, he's able to get out of it, you know, in half the time, and then half the time from there, and then it becomes pitch to pitch. It becomes moment to moment where you don't let something overwhelm you and really put you down and carry into the next opportunity you have with somebody else or something else. So great to see him continue to work and the guys rally around him. A lot of, you know, just small tidbits of communication, extra work up in the cage, remembering and hearing him say it, why he is who he is and why he's been hitting in the 3-hole, you know, the vast majority of the year. So reigniting a little bit of that flame. I know it can be stressful when if we drop a couple games or we're not performing, you can feel like the weight of the world's on your shoulders, but when you got a whole bunch of guys around you that are ready to pick you up, it helps a lot.
How are you handling scouting and prepping for these games? Are you assigning guys different? Last year, I feel like you kind of handed it out a little bit.
We did. We've done that a handful of times throughout the year too. Is kind of give guys a different name on the other team, and there's a lot. They have a lot going on right now with school and preparing themselves. I feel like this is a good time for us to take care of that for them. Let them focus on their bodies, clear their head, because you know there's a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And so we kind of decided to not put that on their plate right now. Just let them go out and perform and communicate more with one another. Rest their mind. That's a big part of it. It's not just physically. You start to get worn down. You know, mentally it can be a lot too. And so really, I want them to be as fresh as possible. In the postseason, like there is no such thing as feeling sore or tired. It's game time. So our coaching staff is really diving into all that stuff. As you can tell, I'm running off a full 10 hours of sleep last night. That's not true. But you know, it's fine. This is what you live for, is helping out the guys and preparing and going to like those big game moments.
So have you been kind of glued to your laptops, or do you call around coaches at some like, how do you yourself do that?
There's so many different, like between True Media and Synergy and you know all the other resources we have. I think we try to like go through a lot of that ourselves. Joey will watch every ground ball that anyone's ever hit off every pitcher, and you know Gip's going to study where they hit the ball in the air and position our outfielders. Dora's going to watch everything about their hitters. You know, and our undergrads each have assignments as well. Our analytics team and our student managers all have assignments as well to make sure that we go into it. So it's gathering a wide range of information and then consolidating it down to the key points. You know, when are they going to run? What are the tendencies there? How does a guy approach it with 2 strikes versus an advantage count, or like for positioning purposes? Where are the spots in the order that we really have to attack and eliminate free bases, or where can we expand the zone a little bit? So it's just really going into it. And when you have, you know, multiple opponents in back-to-back days, you know, you got to have a good baseline, but the day before, you really need to know that opponent and focus all your energy into that and your guys. And then after the game's over, you start prepping, you know, or refreshing everything that you've been studying all week and getting ready for the next one. But
so it's kind of all Tulane right now and not any other.
I'd say you start obviously with your first opponent. We're still going to make sure that we are well ahead of our scouting on the other ones. I mean, it's like you got 3 desks, and here's all one information. You're going to handle all this one, then you hop to the next one, you hop to the next one, and then you, as you're like getting the final hours to competition, making sure you really understand and go through your notes. You know, being over prepared. I'd rather feel that way than underprepared. I want to know everything about our opponents, but I also want to make sure I'm not neglecting our time with our guys and making sure that they are developing and they are feeling, you know, like, yeah, and then some, you know, not just on the field, but I'm not going to neglect, you know, their nutrition. I'm not going to neglect their what they're feeling with their family and school and all those other things. So it's maintaining balance through this thing, not overdoing it, but you know, you don't want to. Going to church every Sunday is important. If praying, you know, every night before you go to bed and the first thing when you wake up, you notice when you start drifting away from those things. You just feel like you're becoming a different person. So all the things that have made these guys exceptional, we want to make sure we're pouring into those and not letting everything else distract us.
Thanks, Mitch.
Cool.